Blown Travel is brought to you by Corporate Traveller, the business travel experts. Switch to Corporate Traveller now and you can save up to 13% on your airfares. Visit corporatetraveller.co.za for more.
It's 12 at night and I'm still at work. My boss missed his flight, that stupid jerk. Now all flights and hotels must be moved out by a day. Mark my words, someone will pay.
Sound familiar? Then switch to Corporate Traveller and let the experts take the hassle out of business travel. With free after-hours support, guaranteed savings and no fixed contract, it's an absolute no-brainer. Bring an expert on board today. Visit corporatetraveller.co.za.
Yeah, Monday afternoon. Let's welcome Warren Robertson back. Hello, sir.
Good day in.
Did you beat that truck driver up that stopped you from getting here?
It wasn't the truck driver, it was the outsurance pointsman didn't want me to go where I wanted.
I always feel sorry for truck drivers when they get their lorries stuck, because when they do it properly, don't they? And then there's nothing they can do.
I don't know, I think it's their only chance to nap. I don't let them sleep at any other...
Exactly. Okay, let's talk corporate travel now. And we welcome Mark Richardson, account manager for Corporate Traveller, into the studio. Mark, welcome to you.
Hi, Ian. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure being here.
Yeah, it's nice to have you guys here. We're talking Africa. How much do you know about travel in Africa?
Yeah, it's a scary prospect.
Scary,
in Africa. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple friends and family that travel into Africa fairly regularly, and they mention things like security details and I mean, it's some heavy things.
Well, Mark and I were chatting off the air before you got here, and that's exactly what I was saying. It's like it's a little bit scary. So, from your point of view, you deal with clients all the time going into Africa. Is it really as scary as we all perceive?
You know what, they say that traveling into Africa is not for sissies. But, once the guys start traveling into Africa more often and they do the process more often, and it becomes a little bit easier, and you can see that the travelers themselves get a little bit more relaxed after a while. And, so it is hectic, but I think that you can overcome that.
Yeah, you say relaxed. I say they let their guard down. That's what it is. It's not. You gotta be careful. Yeah.
It's not really selling Africa, Warren.
Sorry, no. But yeah. I think it's one of those places that business. If you do business in South Africa, you're going to have to be thinking about traveling to over the next couple of years. It's inevitable. It's the big growth area in the world.
Well, every time we talk about it on the business show, we talk about Africa, expansion into Africa, growth into Africa, understanding local markets in Africa, blah, blah, blah. So the two big hubs really are East and West Coast. There's Kenya and there's Nigeria, isn't there? Really?
That's correct. Those are our main, countries or cities at the moment, is Lagos and Nairobi. But sure, look, there are other cities as well, like Accra. You're also looking at going into Zambia. It is expanding into other countries as well.
So, Mark, you've got a very detailed list there, and I'm interested to touch on some of those points. You'll check this out. This is quite cool. Of, I guess, tips really when traveling into Africa to make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've done here. I've compiled a little list just of some things which may help you when you are traveling into Africa. So can I just go ahead?
Yeah, go for it. We're all ears, pal.
Look, the first thing that we've come up with is basically cash is king. So when you are traveling into Africa, they do use cards everywhere, but generally the US dollar, when you're traveling over there, bring some dollars with you. Into most of the countries in Africa use the US dollar. South Africa actually being one of the exceptions. So that is one of the points that we've got here. And when you do exchange into the local currency, don't go overboard. Convert as much as you think you would need, because you can't convert it back into rands when you come back. And then, the second point that I've got here is do a little background check on the countries that you're going into when it comes to the culture of the actual country. When you go into a business meeting in Lagos, for example, the attire is quite smart. So for ladies, you need to wear like pants and all that kind of thing, and men have to wear a tie and a suit and all that kind of thing.
Wow.
So that is quite.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I've seen Nigerian movies. Even the movies, the action stars are wearing suits. That's
those really
guys,
really dodgy ones on
DSTV. Those guys are dapper.
They might look good, but their acting is poor, I'm afraid. Okay, so understand the local etiquette, I guess.
That's correct. Yes,
and there's
yes.
plenty of that on the internet if you just go and do some research.
Yeah, no, it's easy. Just to click onto Google and it'll be all there for
All
you.
there, yeah.
All right, so the third thing that I've got here is basically prepare very well. Don't go at it alone, especially for business travel. Use a company like Corporate Traveller to help you arrange your travel. There's many things when it comes to visas and timing and which hotels to use, which transfer companies to use, all that kind of thing. We've got all that knowledge that we can pass on to you and help make your trip as smooth as possible.
But it extends a little bit further than that because, I mean, it's you need to know where you're going. I was in Antananarivo and a distance of 40 kilometers was for my transfer to go and catch a flight. And I thought, no, it'll be easy. We're going to leave 2.5 hours in advance. I'll comfortably make 40 kilometers, comfortably make the airport. We arrived 6.5 hours later because of the traffic in Antananarivo and just the way that things work there. So, that's that kind of local knowledge that I think he's talking about, kind of be aware that actually these things can take a lot longer. The traffic stands still on the highways in Lagos. So it's these sorts of things that you need to know. I can't arrive and then have my meeting planned for 2.5 hours later.
I mean, traffic's a big deal. It really is.
Yeah.
But that's across a lot of the big hubs in Africa. Kenya, Nairobi is a nightmare. Dar es Salaam is a nightmare. You've just got to plan, and as you say, local knowledge. Plan.
Yeah, that actually was one of the other tips that we've got here. Is prepare for the traffic.
Yeah,
it is really.
That's not a joke. Seriously, it's not a joke.
No, it's not.
If you're catching a plane, as you say, 2 hours ahead of time, you're going, no problem.
Should be fine. But in Lagos on the highway, the guys actually, we've got the robot salesmen. They've got them on the highway. The guys will wander up and down the highway selling you cokes on the highway in Lagos. I mean, that's how bad the traffic is. The traffic stands still for long enough that you can stop and buy a coke and no one's bothered. And also the potholes are large enough to swallow a truck in some places. So that's going to generate bad traffic.
Yeah, as much as the business is booming, the infrastructure, like the roads, aren't quite there.
No.
To help with all the traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, give us two more kind of tasty points there, Mark. What else have you got?
All right, let's see what else we've got here. Okay, very important one here is travel insurance is a definite. If you are going to be traveling into Africa, you need to make sure that you do purchase some type of travel insurance.
Yeah.
We do always recommend you go for the comprehensive policies. But that is a very important one. And then also when it comes to the preparing the health risks, you need to be aware of all the health risks in all the African countries, and you need to make sure that you understand them, and you need to go to your travel doctor and get those immunizations if you need them.
I mean, listen, South Africa won't let you back in if you don't have some of those documents to yellow fever, etc., etc. I mean,
well, here's an interesting thing. When I was in the UK, I lived there for a year, and just as I was coming back, I thought I'm going to go and hit that NHS as hard as I possibly can.
Right.
And they told me, oh, you're going to South Africa, you're going to need, and they gave me a list of vaccinations that I absolutely essentially needed to live in South Africa for, and they gave them all to me for free, and I have no idea what they were for. I've lived most of my life. I mean, so look, there is overstatement on those kind of immunizations. Know which ones are essential, and I imagine a South African doctor's probably a bit more clued up than the UK. Yeah.
No, I would imagine so. I'm going to throw it back to you then, Mark. So from a corporate traveler point of view, these vaccines, these immunizations, these travel insurance, the planning of all of this stuff, I mean, that headache gets taken away by you guys.
Oh, completely. All of that we handle. We even have the travel guys or the travel doctors who come to your place of work or your home and actually give you the immunization at your residence. Yeah,
because the other sneaky thing is, of course, visas, because the visa regulations are totally different for each country. Some we're allowed in, some we're not allowed in, some we get at the border, some we've got to get months in advance.
Change.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. Yes.
This is Africa as opposed to Europe, where it's sort of documented 65 years ago and that's the way it stays. Now it's very, very, I suppose, a loose arrangement. Really.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they're talking about carry cash, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of other reasons why I might carry cash into Africa, bribes being one of them, but we won't talk more about that. All right, fantastic. So where can we go to find you? What do we need to do in order to hook up with somebody who knows local knowledge on the ground when you're traveling into Africa?
All right, to bring an expert on board, all you need to do is go to corporatetraveller.co.za, or you could give us a call on 0877 40 50 90.
I think a lot of companies are going to be going into Africa at one point or another in the next few years, if you're certainly growing up there. And a lot of African countries are doing business with South Africa now. So there's that backwards and forwards. Let's just hope that the interconnecting flights west to east and east to west get a bit better, because I mean, this is something that I was blown away by. If you want to get from Lagos to Dar es Salaam, you've got to go north to go east or south to go east. You can't
we were literally just looking now how difficult it is to get from South Africa to Marrakesh, simply for that exact reason, because there is, the directing flights do not go through Nairobi. They do not go through. They just don't.
But I'm sure Africa will open up in time. That's where you'll come in. You'll go, hang on, this is what you need to do. X, Y,
No,
Z.
100%. That is why we are here, because we can make your travel as smooth as possible.
All right, corporatetraveller.co.za is the website. Mark, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And thank you, Warren, for braving that truck.
And now I get to brave it on the way back as well.
Yeah, enjoy that. Enjoy that. We'll see you soon.
Full Blown Travel was brought to you by Corporate Traveller, the business travel experts. Switch to Corporate Traveller now and you can save up to 13% on your airfares. Visit corporatetraveller.co.za for more.